What's up, everybody? Welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, the Kick-Ass Irreverent Gaming Podcast, brought to you by Affable Idiots, where we contemplate the difficult questions, like, what is an Applebee? Is that a singular? Is that a bumblebee flavored like an apple? Is that like what a worm grows up into? Maybe the worm goes into a cocoon instead of becoming a moth or a butterfly, it becomes a bee. What the fuck is an Applebee? I don't know, but it's delicious. I'm one of your hosts, Chad Michael, loves eating bees, and we've got our regular co-host over here, Adam. You enjoy eating hornets, wasps, bees, or butterflies? Gumbert.
I'll eat anything as long as it's on a late night on the drive-thru. Like that song said.
And then we also have our other co-host here, Alex. Would you go to a drive-thru Applebee's? Like, would you drive through at the Applebee's if it meant the service didn't change? Cozina.
You know, I gotta be honest, I don't think I've ever actually eaten at an Applebee's. Applebee's is one of those chains, one of those American chains that just does not exist in Quebec, and by extension, most of the rest of Canada as well. It was literally like only a couple of years ago that I ate at an Olive Garden for the first time. Thought it was pretty mid, but enjoyed being able to tick it off the box. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that question. I don't know about the prospect of eating at an Applebee's in general. I would be totally fine and not at all regretful if I went through my entire life not having eaten at the Applebee's, to be totally honest.
That's wild. That's incredibly wild. Alex, say the first thing that comes to mind right now, unrelated to Applebee's.
Bionicle.
Yeah, your video is out of sync again. I don't know what it is, but your video is out of sync. But while you experiment like people in college do with their bodies, we're going to tell you where you can find us, because right now, oh, look at us. We are only 1 minute early this time. You can find us on Monday evenings now. That's right. We've been on Mondays now for the last, 2 months-ish, inconsistently on Mondays, but Mondays is the norm. Expect Mondays at 8:30 Eastern Time on twitch.tv/affableidiots, where you can watch us live. You can also catch us on demand on Wednesday mornings now at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube and podcast services as well. I will put this disclaimer out there, and I'm saying this out loud to an audience of several hundred people to hold myself accountable. In the next 2 weeks, we will be switching podcast providers who hosts our podcast. So expect some interruption. If it has not been interrupted, either everything went swimmingly, or I, for the 20,000th day in a row, did not switch podcast providers for us. So just know, if you're like, where's the weekly episode? Go maybe look on YouTube. Does it exist there? If not, maybe I forgot to upload it and I slept in, or who knows, whatever the fuck. Anyway, just expect delays in the next couple weeks as we change our podcast provider from SoundCloud to anything better than SoundCloud. You can also expect great joy, I hope, from our BARF Game of the Month. That's our backlog accomplishment with Respawn and Friends, which is a feature that we have on the show where you get to control what we play in a nominal way, where we give you a list of games we think we might want to play or should have played in our past lives or in our current lives, but in the past, and we haven't for some reason. And you tell us which of the four that you want us to play. So for the month of January, you all have chosen on patreon.com/respawnaimfire Celeste64, Fragments of the Mountain. That is a game that is available on Linux, on what is the fucking PC? Windows, and on Mac OS. Although in about 3 minutes of Googling, I can't find the Mac OS link anywhere, even though the game page on the website says that it's on Mac OS. I just got to do some more Googling and digging. So yeah, go play that. If you like the game, or if you don't like the game, or if you don't have strong feelings either way, but you still have words you would like to say about the game, you can write those into our podcast. You can take the transcript of our podcast when we release the BARF episode, and you can write your thoughts into that transcript, and you can mail it to your congressperson and tell them how much you feel about Celeste64. Or if you're going to be on the episode, you can just be on the episode. Alex, go ahead and say something in Snap.
Yes.
It's perfect.
Added a delay. That's perfect?
It's perfect.
I don't know. I mean, maybe this is too much inside baseball for our viewers/listeners, but every single time we do one of these podcasts, it's always like, Cozy, your audio is out of sync. It's delayed or it needs a delay. And I'm like, okay, what if I turn the delay off? It's perfect. Podcast starts, Cozy, the audio is out of sync. All right, what if I turn off the delay? All right, it's perfect now. And every single time it's some inverse of that scenario. And I don't know why. For the life of me, do not know what's happening.
I wish it was consistent. I wish it was just like, hey, let's consistently have this delay on there, or let's consistently not have this delay, but I don't know. We also have another benefit over on patreon.com/respawn-aim-fire, where you get to get early access to some cool things. Right now, your cool thing you get early access to is Cozy baking a Respawn Aim-Fire cake. And this is especially special, especially because Cozy does not do his regular cooking show anymore. So this is kind of like a farewell to Cozy's cooking in the kitchen with Cozy.com. And also a fun RAF episode for you. If you hate supporting us at $1 or more on Patreon, you can also get old shit that nobody's talking about anymore. It's like when you're like, hey, everyone, guess what? I just finished watching Lost. Like, cool, we all had that discussion 20 years ago. So no one's going to talk with you about it. You can actually go back and you can watch our discussion of Monster Hunter, the movie. And you can see all of the wild things we say about the movie, and all the wild things we say about Rita's Rewind, and all the wild things we say about insert celebrity name here. I don't remember. We probably talked shit about someone in that movie. T.I.'s in that movie, right? Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
What made you come to Lost of all TV shows in the past?
I was trying to think of, like, as I was setting up the scenario in my brain and my mouth was talking, I was trying to figure like what's a recent TV show that like maybe is only a couple of weeks old or a couple months old, but still is already old news because everyone already binged it. And then I couldn't think of anything that wasn't already, like, Silo just finished. Severance just started. And I couldn't think of any other TV show because those are what my brain is on right now. So I was like, Lost is something people talked about a lot. Also, Matt just watched Lost for the first time, like, last year or 2 years ago or something like that. So, and he was late to the party, but I still enjoyed talking with him about it.
Hell yeah.
All right, folks, we've got a couple things to talk about today. We've got Switch 2 news, an official video of Switch 2. We've got 2 PlayStation Live Service games canceled, including a new God of War. We've got a segment from Adam called Tot. We got Cozy's question of the week, maybe, if we have time. And we've got Game on Game Show for sure, because I've got one of those for the first time in a couple months. So let's jump in and start talking about this Nintendo Switch 2. I'm going to play some B-roll here because I got that set up ahead of time. We got the official reveal. This is officially official. All of the things where Nintendo was like, hey, those photos from the leaks are not official. Well, it turns out now we have officials. So I'm going to run through some of these from Wesley Yinpool at IGN. It says, Nintendo has finally revealed the Switch 2 with a video that confirms a number of new features. Nintendo confirmed the Switch 2 console is due out at some point in 2025, but failed to offer a firm release date. However, we can speculate that the Switch won't be released until June, given its hands-on event schedule runs up until June 1st. Because yes, they're doing a tour in different areas of the world, starting in April, going through the beginning of June, giving hands-on impressions of the device. The video, which you can see right now if you're watching the video version, shows the Nintendo Switch 2, its screen, and its new Joy-Con, and they are larger than the original Switch and its controllers. The Switch 2 ditches the original Switch rail connectors for a magnetic snap system that should be more user-friendly. The Switch 2 Joy-Con also look like they can be used as a mouse. And the right Joy-Con also has a mysterious new button. You can see the mouse right now on the screen. The right Joy-Con has a mysterious new button, which we will speculate about here in a second. It confirms that the Switch 2 also plays both physical and digital Nintendo Switch games, as well as the Switch 2 exclusive games. Whoa! Certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with Nintendo Switch 2, however, as we will see in the disclaimer here shortly. We've also seen from this trailer that there is a new Mario Kart game for Nintendo Switch 2, as we see here, with 24 starting positions, and Nintendo announced plans for a Nintendo Switch Direct, a Nintendo Switch 2 Direct on April 2nd. That's almost 3 months away. where we expect to find out more about the console
and
the games we'll play at launch. Go Cozy.
I know that I should be more familiar with the way that date naming schemes work, but for whatever reason, every single time I look at that, I'm like, oh yeah, the Direct's coming up in February. Nope, coming up in April. But I can't, my brain can't properly process that. No, the month comes first and then the day. Anyways, that was just a little cozy mini rant for you. Real quick, you mentioned earlier on that Nintendo's doing a bunch of these Switch 2 events around the world. I have entered into the ticket drawing for the Nintendo Switch Toronto event. I've not yet gotten back confirmation on whether or not I'll be attending it. But wish me luck. If I can't attend it, no big deal. I mean, I'll be picking this up at lunch anyways. But yeah, potentially something to look forward to. I'll be able to provide y'all with information from the ground floor on what we can expect out of this console. I will say,
remind me, my geography of Canada is wildly skewed or non-existent. Toronto, how far away is that from Montreal?
It's, if you're taking a car, it's like a 6-hour drive.
Okay, so far enough that you could cross country ski that in a day.
It is a 6-hour drive southwestward, basically. Whereas Montreal is located more on the east.
6 hours southwest. For some reason in my brain, Montreal is like so close to the border that Southwest would be in the United States.
Well, so that's the thing, is that the way that the American border, because Toronto is located right on the coast of the 5 Great Lakes, like Huron, like Michigan, like so and so. And so the idea is that basically Montreal, like located right above Vermont, right next to Maine, and then basically the border dips, and it's in that dip that Toronto is located. That's a little geography for you.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, that's the situation there. I will say, getting back to the Switch 2, it's funny that over the course of the past few days since this reveal trailer, so much of the discourse online has been dominated by the question of, is the Switch 2 like a little bit too basic, too normal of a Nintendo console? There have been so many opinion pieces of people being like, man, don't you miss the good old days when Nintendo would put out a console that was like a complete freaky wackadoo freak of nature with some crazy new gimmick that you couldn't have ever anticipated? And I mean, obviously, there's still a lot about this console that we don't know. Maybe it will turn out to be that console in the end. But at least right now, personally, I am totally fine with the fact that this console is largely just a step up and improvement on the Switch 2 rather than a complete revolution, as some of Nintendo's consoles have been called in the past. But that is just me.
Adam, what does this trailer do for you? Does it make you feel like you want to buy a Nintendo Switch?
No.
No?
No. There's nothing that's going to make me want to buy it anyways. I do think it looks cool.
Not even the mouse functionality. It'll be just like one of your computers.
No, I mean, that's a cool idea. I don't care enough to spend, $300 to $450 on this. But it is cool. I think it's a good direction if you're going to do it. Again, yeah, innovation, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know, maybe the last time they innovated, it was catastrophically bad. And then they had a good idea. So let's stay with the good idea until it's not good. And then we'll come up with something new. So I think just being a 2 makes plenty of sense. It's still an idea people want. They want portable gaming where you play the real games on the go. And yeah, just make it more powerful, new controllers. All the complaints people have from the first one being a 7-year-old device. Update it, throw Donkey Kong with his big ass eyes on there, and everyone will be happy. So I think it's a good idea. It's a good move.
I'm trying to think. Hold on. There's this connection in my brain that I'm trying to see if it's something that's made up.
Where's this going?
November 2013. Remember that date. That's really important.
Just the month. Okay. November 2013. Gotcha.
Okay.
November 2012. I think this is wild. So Nintendo, I think, has been a trendsetter for a ton of generations now. GameCube had the most powerful console. Boom. Then they're like, the next generation, everyone's like, we're going to make powerful consoles that eat your powerful consoles for lunch. Then they did Wii Remote, and then everyone else is like, we're going to do fucking PlayStation Move and Xbox Connect. And then they do the Wii U. And then a year later, after the Wii U comes out, fucking Xbox Smart Glass comes out, which is that second screen experience where you could have your iPad or your phone be a second screen for your console, so you could like be playing The Witcher and have the map on your iPad, or be watching Game of Thrones and have like a little thing on your phone telling you who's on the screen at what time and their relation to each other, and whether it's weird that they have sex or not in that show. And so even the Wii U, as catastrophically as a failure, I think it still influenced the market, for better or for worse. In that case, maybe worse, because we quickly ditched the smart glass idea. But then we got to the Switch, and it launched Steam Deck. It launched fucking the ROG Ally, a whole new class of PC, basically. So do you think there's something in here software-wise or functionality-wise that's just not visible on the hardware? That are we going to have just like built-in mice to controllers for the next generation of PlayStation and Xbox consoles? What's the trend they're setting?
I mean, we'll see in February. April. We'll see. We will certainly see.
You're right, Chad. I didn't think about it. This would be the first time that the next console isn't completely new, because even the Wii U, even though it was named like the last one, didn't function like the Wii really at all. So this will be the first one that functions basically the same. But yeah, maybe there's some goofy stuff in there that people are into, or maybe it's just more of what people want. I think either way, Nintendo will probably make money. I think that's what is most important. But yeah, what if everyone's just going to start being like, what if all of your peripheral devices had mice on them? That might be a thing in like 5 years, Chad. You might be right. I don't know.
There are a couple of things about this reveal here that kind of irk me a little. One, I think, well, I'll have to see how the mouse thing works, because I can't imagine a lot of opportunities or places where I'm going to be in a place that has a flat wooden surface that allows me to use a mouse on it, or a flat, hard surface that allows me to use a mouse in any like meaningful way. But then the other thing that kind of bugs me a little bit about it is the color on the inside of the console that matches the Joy-Cons feels like that's a permanent color by looking at these renders. And that customizable color, like if I get a red Joy-Con for the left, or if I get white Joy-Cons for both of them, am I just going to have permanently blue and red, and then like is the whole color aspect completely moot? Are the Joy-Cons going to match? Like, is this the end of customizable Switches and we just have one Switch with one set of controllers for the rest of the time now? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Or will Joy-Cons just be permanently... If you get new Joy-Con colors, you have to have a new Switch that comes with it that has those colors on the sides. I don't know.
It's probably just the launch ones, and then
that would be a weird restriction.
That would be weird. The next models will probably get rid of the color on the inside. It doesn't matter. I've had to guess, right? Because the launch ones had the red and the blue, and then as they made more models, they changed up the, I guess
the launch ones had red and blue Joy-Cons, and also gray was an option. But nothing on the console itself was matching those colors, except for the UI would, like, you click in the blue ones, and on the screen it would have a little blue.
Watch it pop out. Watch it. You're going to get it in your hands, and it just like, you can change them out if you want to.
It's just like a little silicone sleeve that you put in there.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? That is
maybe. What if you have to... What if it's actually like a super advanced like screen on like the outside of the Joy-Con, and you got to pay more money to change the color? That'll be one day a console will actually legitimately do that, and that's going to be like a major like breakthrough innovation.
I know we're goofing, but if someone was like, "Hey, our normal controller is $80. If you give us $115, you can press a button and change the color of the controller anytime you want," I would buy that controller.
I'm kind of fucking all about that.
I'd be about that. Yeah. Translucent purple today, please. Yeah, they'd get my money for that.
God, that would be so cool. If just the entire thing was a screen and you could... Yeah. That's this innovation. That's the innovation that Nintendo Switch is making for this generation, is screens.
Calling it right now. We're gonna find out, figured it out.
The whole fucking console is not actually gray. It's just a screen displaying gray right now.
Yeah. And then the hackers are going to get in there, and they're going to do stuff like just do like layers of like Reggie Fils-Aimé's face, or like just like random shit like that.
The other thing about this too is that like the Super Mario that they showed off in this trailer, obviously they have not like confirmed there's a new Super Mario game. Yes. They just like showed some Super Mario footage.
Mario Kart.
Oh, sorry. Mario Kart footage. And so that could mean, if we're taking everything at face value, that it's just a tech demo or something. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean a new game, but it's like nothing particularly exciting about the gameplay and what's shown in there. And I'm wondering, if this is, in combination with the mouse, Mario Kart Maker. Like, are we looking at not Mario Kart 9, but Mario Kart Maker?
Ooh.
Where you can design your own courses, however many people you want to have 2 people racing in a course, you want to have 65 racing in a course. That's why there's more starting slots than others. And that's why it's not like they're not showing whatever the Mario Kart 9 gimmick is, because this is more of a like, all right, build on your own shit on top of whatever you like. That's what I think we're looking at here. Which again would be easier to do with a mouse probably, or a stylus maybe, but
I'm trying to remember if there was a Mario Kart game that had some sort of stage builder functionality, because it sounds familiar.
It was called Mod Nation Racers on the PlayStation Vita.
It's honestly possible that I might be confusing it with that. There was also, like, for example, back in the day, in Excite Bike, which was another racing Nintendo game, you could build your own courses there as well. I mean, I don't think that's impossible. I do think... I believe someone pointed out on Twitter that like there's like a split second in the trailer where you can see some sort of fuel tank, like a yellow fuel tank like object that you can drive into, and they were pointing out that maybe that has something or other to do with the new gimmick. I'm more like, obviously it'll be interesting to see what new gimmicks this game introduces. I'm intrigued by some of the redesigns of some of the game's classic characters that we've seen so far. Donkey Kong, it seems like they're kind of fully embracing the kind of hybrid appearance for Donkey Kong that kind of debuted in the Mario movie, and kind of moving away from like the classic rare reinvention of Donkey Kong that happened in the mid 90s, which I'm not like so attached to Donkey Kong that I'm going to miss the old version of Kong, but it's certainly the dawn of a new era that we're on the precipice of.
On the precipice. 3 months away, precipice.
3 months. I mean, if it launches in 3 months, we don't even know if it's going to launch in 3 months.
It's 3 months. 3 months before we find out anything about Donkey Kong's eyes or fucking Mario Kart or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I am a little bit pumped for this. I am pumped for it because it is more of the same, but just presumably with bigger, more comfortable controllers to hold. Because spoilers for playtime, I've been playing a lot of my Nintendo Switch this week, and those flat little wafer controllers are not comfortable to hold long term. So hopefully there's more heft to these and they're better. But I'm also hoping that this finally pushes a dedicated PlayStation and Xbox handheld. And I know that Xbox is working on it, and I know, but it's years away, and I know PlayStation has probably had talks about it. But if they can show, hey, a handheld thing that is able to run current gen games, there's no excuse anymore.
I feel like we got to be closer to those things being a reality than we are not. Like, not like we're not going to see either of them this year, but like 2026, I don't think it's impossible we might see one of them. I don't think it's impossible. I will just say, to kind of wrap up the conversation, like, for me, like, I'm excited for this. This is the original Nintendo Switch. It was like a really rough time for me and my kind of relationship with Nintendo. I was coming off of the Wii U, which disappointed myself and many other Nintendo fans. The first game I picked up on the Switch was Breath of the Wild, which everyone was saying, this game is awesome. It's revolutionary. You're going to love it. I didn't fall in love with it first time around, and that kind of killed off my love of Nintendo for a couple of years there. Still played a lot of games on my 3DS, but my Switch, I basically barely touched for the first few years of its life. And over the course of the past 2 years, starting in 2013, I've kind of had a bit of a renaissance, a Switch-a-renaissance of love for the console. I've played a lot of games, first and third party, on the platform that I previously skipped over the console generation that has preceded us. Is that correct? Preceded us, or should I say succeed? No, I should say proceed. But that would imply that the console generation, but we are inside of it. So what would I say? Within the console generation that
in the right now,
in the right now, we'll go with that. But yeah, all over the course of the past 2 years, I feel like I've been playing a lot more Switch games. I feel like my hype is building and building. I'm not through the roof super excited, but I am much more open to be brought back into the fold that is Nintendo this time around than I was with the original Switch. So we will see.
The last thing that crossed my mind today that I haven't really heard anyone bring up is this generation of consoles was so insistent on the fact that games will be radically redesigned and unplayable on slower hard drives. And that's why these have like NVMe SSDs in the PlayStation and the Xbox consoles now. And with the Switch still having, I'm curious if the Switch is going to have like meaningful onboard storage that is that fast, to because if it's finally going to get these third-party games that literally can't be designed to work on old hardware, is that going to be the case? Or is this new, it got a new class of SD card is now, like the SD card slot on this is readable at like much faster speeds on a new class of SD card. But that then gets into territory where it's confusing to the consumer, where they can plug in their old SD card and play Switch games on it, and some Switch 2 games, but some Switch 2 games probably won't play on it, and they need a different SD card that looks almost exactly the same, but with a tiny little number different in there. And I'm wondering how they're going to tackle new games and storage speed. Whether the Switch is only going to be compatible with the new storage cards and not older storage cards, or whether it's going to be like PS5, where you can download PS5 games to the console, but not to a slower hard drive on the external, but you can to a internal additional. Yeah, I don't know. There's a storage speed thing gunk in the air that I'm curious for them to clarify.
For what it's worth, right? I know that this consoles were like NVMe's, right? Steam Deck uses just an SSD card, just a normal. Again, it's better than the SD card. It's whatever. It's not the full NVMe, but it's still one of the better hard drives, right?
SSD, right?
An SSD. That's what a Steam Deck uses. And right before they announced the Switch 2, they were showing on Twitter that they had Final Fantasy VII Rebirth running on Steam Deck. It's Steam Deck compatible. So as long as you have an SSD, I think you're good for most things that are third party.
Can you look up for me whether Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, which is on PC, is that Steam Deck compatible? Because that's like the showcase game. They're like, look how fast we can jump through a portal and be in a different world. Is that Steam Deck compatible?
By the way,
Ratchet & Clank runs quite nicely on the Steam Deck.
Huh. All right. Well, then maybe it was all bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, while Adam looks that up, I actually learned the other day, you know how all the Ratchet and Clank games have these names that are meant to be allusions to like much more crass and vulgar turns of phrase, like Up Your Arsenal and Quest for Booty. Apparently, Rift Apart is supposed to be Ripped a Fart. That's what it's supposed to be derived from. Not my favorite one, I gotta be honest.
I had never thought of the fart thing, like, oh, I just ripped a nice, nasty fart. But I thought ripped apart as in like an Army Hammer sexual act of like, I'm gonna rip you to pieces and eat your earlobes or whatever. Like, I'm ripped apart. Like, Jesus. That's what I assumed the euphemism was there. But I guess ripped a fart is yeah. I guess that's just not how I describe farting a lot in my day to day. But it makes sense. Well, that's Switch 2. Stay tuned in 3 months from now for more Switch 2 news. For now, let's go to playtime. We're talking about what we played this week. Cozy, tell me more about your Switch. We're talking about Switch. We're going to talk about more Switch.
Yeah. So earlier I alluded to the fact that I've been going back through the Switch's back catalog, playing more games from the console's life cycle that I didn't previously get around to back during the dark ages of me not really being into it. And I decided to finally check out a little game called Bowser's Fury. This is one half of the port of Super Mario 3D World that made its way to the Switch a few years ago. Super Mario 3D World, of course, originally released on the Wii U back in 2013. It was like the definitive 3D Mario game for that platform. And when they ported it to the Switch, they added in a new little mode called Bowser's Fury. If you're not familiar with Bowser's Fury, basically Mario is transported to a open world cat-themed lake with a bunch of little islands that have dotted all over the lake. You got to go to the islands, complete platforming challenges, collect these little things called cat shines, very similar to the shine sprites from Super Mario Sunshine or the stars in any other average Mario game. But while this is happening, Bowser's there. Bowser has grown incredibly huge and incredibly mean. He's all dark and fiery, and every now and then, while you're exploring the open world, Bowser will awaken and go around and cause a big ruckus. He'll spread wanton destruction everywhere, and you have to collect shine sprites and not shine sprites, cat shines, and eventually, after you pass a certain threshold of collected cat shines, you can grow to Super Mario cat size and take on Bowser. That is the basic premise of Bowser's Fury. I wanted to check this game out because although we still don't know a whole lot about the next upcoming 3D mainline Mario game that will debut on the Switch 2, we didn't get any footage of it in the reveal trailer that we were talking about earlier. I think it's pretty reasonable to assume that whatever that game ends up looking like, whatever that game ends up being, is probably going to be an expansion of what we got with Bowser's Fury. I think very likely that it's going to be some sort of open world-esque experience where you're going to all sorts of different lands and worlds, and they're all kind of interconnected in some fashion. And I think that Bowser's Fury was basically a way for that team to kind of like experiment and test out some of these ideas ahead of them making a full-fledged proper game in that style. And so it's kind of like, I've been wanting to check out Bowser's Fury for a while now, because again, it's one of these many Switch games I didn't get to when it originally released. And it is also this thing where like, I expect that when we finally get the full proper 3D Mario game that takes this basic concept and really runs with it, Bowser's Fury might feel a little bit basic by comparison and probably won't be as fun to go back to then. And so better to play it now rather than come back to it later. And I can say that I think it was definitely worthwhile for me to play it for that reason, because this game is a lot of fun. I had a great time beating it and then subsequently collecting all 100 of the cat shines that are available to collect in it. It is a little basic at times. Again, it definitely does feel like this is a dry run for a more ambitious project that we want to attempt later on. I think that, not that a Mario game like this needs a particularly elaborate story, but there were definitely a few moments playing it where I was like, I feel like I could use just a little bit more lore, a little bit more of an explanation of what exactly this cat-themed archipelago is all about and why Bowser has grown to supersized kaiju levels of aggression. But yeah, overall a fun time, and I am excited to move on to Gears of War 2 next.
Ooh, Gears of War 2 following up Bowser's Fury. All right.
It's going to be a non-Gears of War game and then a Gears of War game until eventually I've played all the Gears of Wars.
That's real funny. I'm looking at Wikipedia for Bowser's Fury, and I'm just looking at the plot synopsis because it'll come up in my segment later. I've just been reading entries on things, and it's funny as shit. Beginning of the plot. While on a walk, Mario discovers a mysterious black sludge. I love that the plot starts with while on a walk. I just think that that's really fun and charming.
Adam, while you're talking, continue talking about your games that you've played.
Nothing. I haven't played anything.
What?
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, again, it's just more college football.
Not even Marvel Snap for the 14 hours it was down?
Yeah, no, I couldn't play for let me tell you, I almost got a VPN just to be able to play it. But I just bought Balatro on my phone instead. No, I've been playing more Rivals. I've been playing more college football. And then there are one or more games that I'm playing that I cannot talk about yet.
Oh,
so
that's right.
That is why it is empty.
Right.
So I will let you know more when I can let you know more.
Mario Kart Maker.
Oh, Mario Kart Maker for me, baby. In 7 months, I can talk about it.
I have played, the first game I'll say is Squid Game Warzone. And we heard Joel talk about it last week on the podcast. And I was like, fucking invite me next time. Thanks for the invite. And it was a ton of fun. It was so good. Me, Joel, and Dallas. Unfortunately, the Squid Game mode is only 4-player. Like, it's squads of 4. So we had to have a rando every time or just be at a huge disadvantage. And it was Resurgence too, so it was like you could come back multiple times if you got killed. But it was just like, it adds a more fun layer to the game that makes it not feel as stressful. because Warzone can be very stressful, and especially if you're going in and you're playing it safe and going on the outside of the ring and finding a contract to get to the middle, but then the whole time you have like, all right, we have 60 seconds to be the highest, or in the highest 6 teams across the map of people who are like literally elevation. We have to climb up a pole or get to the top of a building while also trying not to get shot. Or, you know, you have to run the farthest or do the most damage to a vehicle or shoot the most bullets in 60 seconds, which will give away your position and help everyone find you and all that shit. So plus the entire game randomly red light, green light coming up is just like so nerve wracking. And there were a couple of times where I think we got to 5th place twice and we all got wiped out at 5th place because of red light, green light. Like things got so tense in the middle, the small circle and everybody. Or one time we were even just watching our rando carry the 3 dead bodies of us at the last circle. And it was red light, green light that got him too. Cause you just get so tense that you stop thinking about red light, green light. It's so
That's
much fun.
what I was going to ask, like on average, who is like the most disciplined person of your group? Was it the rando that was carrying you? It sounds like the rando was the person that was typically carrying you, or was it? I think guys?
during that one game, the rando was, and it was a different rando every time. Dallas got to a point where like he was careless enough in one game that he like died 3 times to red light, green light, and then he started calling it out.
No,
like 3 seconds ahead of time, where he's like, "Stop moving." Because you can hear her singing the song, and sometimes she sings it fast, sometimes she sings it slow, and pretty much just anytime she started singing the song, he would just say, "Everyone stop moving." So he got real good at it. But it doesn't matter how good you are. In the heat of the last little tiny circle, you stop listening for songs. You start listening for footsteps. So the other thing, back on the fitness game, you know, it's January, back in my regular domicile with the closely accessible treadmill and elliptical. So I'm back on my playing Pokemon on the treadmill on my iPad, thanks to Delta and this beautiful little controller. And so I'm continuing my play of Pokemon White 2 with a couple of cheats turned on to basically everything's one Pokeball catch. This is because I'm finding that this game is very much so far like just go through all the same towns and shit as Pokemon Black was. I'm allowing myself more cheats than I was during my Pokemon Black 2 playthrough.
Ooh.
So, and I'm also using.
I was going to say, have you made it to Skyla yet? Who's like the flying type gym leader?
Not in the 2. Skyla was like the 7th gym leader in Black and White, I think, at the airport or whatever.
Because I don't. Okay.
I've just made it to the town where you did like the musical, and in the first game, the gym was the roller coaster, and you were taking the different roller coaster routes to get to the gym leader. And then I just got to the end of the roller coaster and realized, oh, the gym leader's not there. She built a new gym somewhere else in the city, and I got to go find it. But I'm allowing myself more cheats this time because I'm trying to like fast track my way through it. So I'm turning on at times 10 times, sometimes 100 times experience per battle. So that my Pokemon will level up like 7 or 8 levels by killing like a Caterpie or something like that. But that's also because I'm also turning off random encounters. And by turning off, I mean I'm just hitting the button for infinite repels. So I just do a new repel by hitting the minus button. So every once in a while, but if I don't do the 100 XP or 100 times XP or 10 times XP, then my Pokemon will be severely underleveled by the time that I get to the next gym battle. Anyway, while I was playing that, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of enjoying these enough that I'm curious about the Switch ones. I've played a little bit of Sword. I've played a little bit of Pokemon Violet, but they never caught me. So I went back to play Pokemon Violet. And I started playing it a little bit more. I was like 3 gym badges in at that point, and I had done like 2 of the Titans of the game when I picked it back up, and I was just trying to figure out, all right, where am I right now? What am I doing in the game? Who's my Pokemon? Like, how do I get to wherever the fuck I'm trying to get to on this map? Because there are so many environmental things that are like, oh, it's just right over there, 100 feet to the left. But turns out there's a giant cliffside that you can't do, and you have to go all the way around, and so you can't. Anyway, so I was right there, and then I had this realization that like, I think I really fucking am into Pokemon. And I've always thought of myself as like, Pokemon's cool, but I hadn't like considered myself as like someone who is like super into Pokemon. But I was just like, yeah, Pokemon's cool. I had fun with the first few games. It's a cool IP. But then I literally, as I was playing Pokemon Violet, I was like, I am simultaneously playing 4 different Pokemon games every day now. Pokemon White 2, Pokemon Violet, Pokemon Trading Card Game, and Pokemon Go. I'm fucking printing Pokemon on my 3D printer left and right, and I can't stop. And
Ooh,
I think I might
cool
like
ass
Pokemon.
Pokeball.
Yeah, this is a Mewtwo ball designed by N3D over on Maker World. This is, I think, a Patreon exclusive model. So go to the Patreon. Anyway, yeah, cool. All sorts of cool shit. So yeah, I think I like Pokemon, y'all. And now I am 25 hours into Pokemon Violet. I have gotten all the badges and I have gotten all the Titans and defeated all the camps. And I'm like, literally, the only things I have left to do are the Elite Four, battle the person at the end of all of the fucking camps that I cleared out, and then do whatever this Area 0 thing is. I assume is like the final end game part of this thing before the DLC. So it still runs like trash. I still have frame rate issues. If I play the game for more than an hour, docked or handheld, doesn't matter. If I play the game for more than an hour, then like the animations of the Pokeball, like trying to catch something, just like chugs, and the frame rate dips to like 10 frames a second for shit until I restart the console. So, and pop in like crazy in a game where like you're supposed to find Pokemon out in the world, which I love. That's how it is like you're just driving around on your stupid motorcycle, Mon, and people just appear under your fucking feet and run into you because that's how the game can render them, is only while they're on top of you.
I was going to say they were really pushing the. Oh no, wait a minute! You're talking about Violet, not the DS version,
not Arceus. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, Violet.
Okay, well I don't have as many. I don't have as many excuses for Violet then. What I was going to ask is, do you see yourself going back in and filling in some of the gaps? Do you see yourself going and playing the 3DS Pokemon games so that you can bridge the
probably
5 to 9
I've already beat Alpha Sapphire on the 3DS. I did that when it came out. I started Pokemon Moon on 3DS when it came out, but never returned to it. So I'll probably go back and like try that one. And then the only ones I have, I guess, from there that I haven't done X and Y. Are those DS or 3DS?
X and Y those are the 3DS. Those were the first 3D ones on the 3DS.
So I'll have to actually find those. Because Delta only does regular DS. It does not emulate 3DS right now.
I enjoyed my time with X and Y. Those games, they were the first 3D ones in the series, and I think there was a lot of anticipation going into them of like, oh man, these are going to be the games that completely revolutionize things, and I think they let people down with how much they were ultimately similar to the games that came before them. I do think they have their bright spots here and there. Going into Sun and Moon, I would say that if you decide, you know what, I only want to play one set of these games, because if you remember, there was Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I would say Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are definitely more worth playing over Sun and Moon, unlike Black 2 or Pokemon Black and White, Black 2, White 2, where Black 2 and White 2 are a direct continuation of Black and White. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon basically are just like an enhanced version of Sun and Moon. Take the same story, but then add a lot of cool stuff at the end. So
the crystal to the gold and silver, or the yellow to the red and blue.
Yes, it's much more in that vein than being a sequel like Black 2 and White 2. So I would say play Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon over Sun or Moon if you want to play one of those.
Well, damn. Cozy, the digital store is offline or the eShop's offline for 3DS. So that means you got to find those fucking
If only there was another way to play those games. Oh, if only there was.
I'm not going to sit down in front of a computer and play those fucking games
have to do
in
that.
front of a computer.
You don't have to do that either. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Would
I buy a Steam Deck? How would I get a 3DS game?
It is worth pointing out, by the way. I was somebody that was a big advocate for the 3DS's 3D effect back in the day, because it could be genuinely really cool depending on the game. With the Pokemon games, though, they actually dropped the 3D effect from Sun and Moon onward. They did it for X and Y, where only in Pokemon battles you had access to the 3D effect, and then outside of Pokemon battles you didn't have the 3D effect. Sun and Moon onwards, they were like, no, this is just too intensive to keep using this. And so you don't have to worry about playing the games and being like, I don't have access to the 3D effect, were you to hypothetically play these games on a non-3DS console. Just letting you know.
All right, so that means I have to play Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, XY, and then the only ones that I haven't played would be Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I've played the original Silver. And then Fire Red and Leaf Green, which I just bought both of those actual cartridges at a game store 2 weeks ago. So I was going to play those on my Analog Pocket. One of them is the Australian version. I didn't realize it was the Australian version until I got home, but it doesn't have any differences from the US version, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, Pokemon's cool, I guess. And
I'm really happy for you. I'm really happy that we managed to. I basically converted you without me actually doing anything. You just of your own volition were like, I'm going to get really into Pokemon, and here you are.
That was it.
That's what's funny when you said it. I'm like, you've been only playing Pokemon games for years. Like, this isn't like the only mobile game you played was Pokemon Go and then TCG Pocket. Like, this is not news, Chad.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Pokemon Go is a little bit different because they did the 150 to get everyone in 2017.
And then you kept playing for 5 years.
And then you just keep playing because it's like something to do while you're walking the dog or like waiting while you're pooping or it's like, and then it becomes just like a collection thing. It's like, I gotta make sure I get the fucking Farfetch'd this week that's available. So it's just like little tiny things to keep up with. But the games, I haven't like finished a Pokemon game since. Since Silver?
You played
before that.
What about? I mean, there was Legends Arceus.
Yeah, Legends Arceus. I was like hardcore into Legends.
I know
Arceus.
That might not be a mainline game, but I mean, it's still a legitimate.
That's what I'm saying. You were so into Arc. You've been so into every Pokemon game you played. I'm shocked that you're like, I like Pokemon. It's like, yeah, I knew that.
But see, there was. I mean, I just named them out loud. I was Moon. Pokemon Moon, Sword, Violet, like these are all games that like, all right, I played 2 hours of each one.
You love the spin-offs. Like, you're a big spin-off boy.
I guess I'm
you were until now.
Give me the Gen V versus the boys. Actually, I'm into both of them. They're both great, but
you can't wait till ZA comes out, huh? But you're just hot and horny.
Tell
for
you
that
what,
one.
man, I am. Well, one, the rumors are saying that Pokemon ZA will not have any Switch 2 functionality and that it will be just a backwards compatible Nintendo Switch 1 game. So I am not looking forward to how that's going to run. And we don't even know yet if the Switch 2 has any like meaningful way to make things run better, just like by default. So it might just run like trash on both systems. But two, I am excited for whatever ZA ends up becoming. So I just know it's going to run like trash.
I do wonder about that. I wonder if they release, like, if ZA in its original form ends up being just a Switch 1 game, and then they release, like, Super Legends ZA that is Switch 2.
So the big old Game Freak leaks that happened last year, the only thing that had two versions was the Gen 10. There was Gai, Gai, which was the Switch version, and then, like, Super Gaia or Mega Gaia or whatever that was, which was, like, the same Gen 10 game, but the Switch 2 version.
I see. I didn't really when the big Pokemon Mega Leak happened, I only looked into like the weird old beta Pokemon and stuff and a little bit about the movie. I didn't really look into the games too much, so I'm a little bit out of my element in that regard.
Yeah, it seems like there will be like a meaningful difference between the Switch and the Switch 2 version of Gen 10, but not for ZA. As long as it runs, motherfucker. All right. Well, moving on from Pokemon, we're going to move to another P word, PlayStation, because 2 PlayStation Live service games have been canned. This news we are reading from Chris Scullion at VGC. Bloomberg's Jason Schreier reports that Sony canceled live service games in development at Bend Studio and Bluepoint Games, a report which was confirmed by a Sony spokesperson. Schreier confirmed that the game Bluepoint was working on was a live service God of War title, and Sony spokesperson confirmed that both games had been canceled following a recent review, but stressed that neither studio would be closed down as a result of the cancellations. Bend Studios' last game was 2019's Days Gone, which had released to a mixed critical reception, and PlayStation acquired Bluepoint in September 2021, almost a year after the release of its last game. A PS5 launched a remake of Demon's Souls.
Ooh. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty outspoken in saying what it is that I'm about to say, but I would have been interested in seeing what the deal was with that live service God of War game. Like, would it have been any good? I don't know. I think the folks at Bluepoint are very talented, and they've made many great games over the years, / worked on fantastic remakes. I really love God of War, from both the original games back in the day under David Jaffe to the more recent versions during the kind of Norse saga of the series. I have a lot of love for this series, and the last time God of War, attempted a multiplayer mode with the multiplayer mode in God of War Ascension, it wasn't all that great, but I do think that there is the kernel of something potentially really interesting, provided that such a multiplayer mode would actually take advantage of the core characters of the God of War saga that we actually know and love. The problem with that old multiplayer mode in Ascension is it was basically, hey, take this like generic Greek warrior, pledge allegiance to one of the 4 gods, and then you're off to the races, but you don't have any kind of personal attachment to any of these characters. Now, a God of War game in which you play as Kratos, Atreus, any of these other core characters, that's also this ongoing live service game. How would that have worked? I don't know. But I do think, again, I know that I'm pretty outspoken in saying this, I would have been interested in seeing what exactly it is that they were cooking up, because I think that there's genuine potential in the idea of taking the excellent core gameplay of the God of War games and putting that into a multiplayer like environment. But yeah, either way, this was just, man, what a colossal waste of time and talent, forcing both these studios to develop these projects that were, even if they didn't know that they were fated to be shuttered at the time, ultimately were fated to meet the end that we learned of just a few days ago.
I don't know if we know that PlayStation had some kind of influence over all their studios, saying, hey, live service is a hot new thing, everyone do it. But like, from Bluepoint's announcement, this could be PR speak, the last time I heard Bluepoint talking, they were like, we're excited to work on a new IP. Like, this is the first time we're an original idea or something like that. Like, we're not just remaking a game or remastering a game. We're working on an original game. And it sounded like this could have been something they were passionate about or excited about. So I don't know if... We don't know enough information, I think, to say they were forced to do this. But I do think that it could have been cool in... There's basically one iteration that I think kind of funny. They were tossing out ideas of what this could have looked like, and the only one that really was like, yeah, I think that's worth exploring, was the Diablo-like God of War, like an isometric ARPG where you could play as Freya and have control over nature. You could play as Kratos and have ice powers and the chains, and you could play as Atreus and be a ranger. Like, that felt like it could have been really interesting to me as like a live service ARPG thing, but
I get why that was, because I watched that episode as well. I get why that would have been appealing to Greg Miller, knowing how much of a fan he is of Diablo and Path of Exile. For me personally, I feel like that kind of gets away, though, from what is appealing about this idea to me. Because for me, what's appealing is taking the core gameplay that we're all familiar with from the recent God of War games and being like, and now how can we turn this into a PvP-like experience? Making it like an isometric Diablo experience. Not saying that can't be good, but I feel like at that point, it's like, you do begin to question, all right, do we want to even put the God of War name on this? Can't we just call this something else? But I also understand that there is a whole thing where you got to put these, known name brands on these franchises if you want them to succeed. It's a whole ball of yarn.
At the end of the day, neither of these games ended up being good enough to continue working on. So unfortunately, that means we probably won't see something from Bluepoint or Bend Studio for another few years. But you know what? We got Intergalactic to hold us over, coming from Naughty Dog. So
I guess we do.
Ooh, can't wait for that.
Sony Bend, their last game came out in 2019, and it could very well be 2029 before we see their next game at this point.
They could be the next Amy Hennig. Like they might as well just rename the studio to Hennig Studios.
Yeah,
it will not be an issue. But it's the thing that I think after Concord, which everyone's just going to remember as like a punchline, but for a company, and this is any company, to put that much money into something, have it fail so badly, they will never do something like that again. Like if they're willing to cancel a Last of Us multiplayer game because it's not working and they don't want to ruin the IP name. If Blue Point was like, oh, this God of War game is going to be a 7, they're going to kill that in the crib. Like you will never see stuff like that unless it's absolutely going to be a hit, because PlayStation needs their IPs to stay prestigious and they have to recoup all their money because they've seen what happens when you make something people don't care about and you waste $400 million on acquiring a studio and putting out a game for 10 days and then killing it. So you're going to see this. They're probably going to try to go back to single player games, but there's not even a curiosity. They will never make something unless they think it's going to be an absolute banger, because they are not going to waste that much money and that much time and that much man hours ever again, because you can't afford to do it. So yeah, who knows what happened. They said that these studios are okay. We'll see in 3 years what they're doing, but yeah, you're never going to see them approve something that is not going to work or is not working. They're not going to waste their time and their money. So not shocking, but PS6 launch is going to be super good. That's what I remember they were talking about that. I kind of find it's like there are like maybe 3 games for the rest of the PS5 generation. Yeah. But
if again, all the studios were working on live service stuff that all got canned, they got to start fresh and they got to spend several years on it. And it's like, PS6 is going to come out the gate swinging.
But it's the thing, as a brand though, if I'm running Sony, I would rather have only 3 games that are all really, really good compared to 8 games and people make fun of us and say that they're shit and our IPs are worth nothing. I would rather take the hit to have less games come out as long as they stay prestigious. So that's probably what's going to happen for the rest of the generation. So it's a thing to think about.
Well, that's the end of our quest log, and that brings us to our segment from Adam. We're going to do another segment from Adam. That is me doing the Simpsons version of Guys and Dolls, because a friend of mine just sent me that last night. And in the Simpsons, they go, guys and dolls, we're all a bunch of crazy guys and dolls.
See, it was me. I thought it was Bob's Burgers. Were they Weekend at Mort's? We're gonna have a weekend at Mort's.
Okay.
Very good.
In that same episode, Mark Hamill voices Luke Skywalker in that Simpsons episode, and they also do Luke be a Jedi tonight. It's a good episode.
I gotta go watch that old Simpsons stuff. My segment, we're bringing back a classic. Everyone loves it. What does TOT stand for? This or that.
Oh, this or that. All right.
Video game, this or that. What I've decided to do is it's football time, baby. College football playoffs are happening as we're recording this. Super Bowl happens in the next couple of weeks. We're about to have the Final Four in the NFL. And I was like, what's fun about football? And what's fun about video games? They both have mascots. So what I've decided to do, I have 10 mascots. And you tell me if it is a video game mascot or a sports league real man mascot. Okay. So now, just a little preface it. Because when you Google video game mascot, it's like Sonic the Hedgehog, Mario, it's that stuff, right? So some of these are that, where it's like a character that would be considered the company's mascot, quote unquote, right? Some of them are also mascots, fictional mascots inside of a video game.
Whoa, Inception.
And then the other ones are professional sports league mascots. And we're just going to guess, and then you'll keep points, and then we have 10. And my most fun thing, I was talking to Chad earlier, like all these fictional characters, the fact that it's a guy in a suit, but the guy in the suit has an actual history and a background. They all have like Wikipedia and fandom pages on like their fictional backgrounds of these fake characters. So I wanted to read those. Those are fun. But anyways, we'll start with number 1. And again,
remind me, is this just shout it out if you feel like you know it? Or,
you guys are both going to answer, and then you'll keep track of your own points.
All right.
We'll switch back and forth just in case you think you're cheating off each other. Whatever. Cool, Chad, you'll go first. Cozy second. We'll go back and forth.
All right.
So again, this is a mascot. It's a real mascot. You got to tell me if it's a sports mascot or if it's a video game mascot. Number 1, Rystar. Chad, what kind of mascot is that?
Rystar reminds me of Roystar. Royco Star, Waystar Royco. from Succession, which is the merger of the company of Waystar and the Roy family's company, which is a fictional universe set within a real world, leading me to think that it is a real life sports mascot.
Okay, so you say Rystar is real. Cozy, what do you think?
Rystar is a video game mascot. I can't, for the life of you, tell you what he looks like, but I'm very familiar with him. He was one of those dudes that debuted in the 90s. He was kind of concurrent to Sonic the Hedgehog. Can't tell you that much more about him, though.
Rystar is a failed video game mascot.
Damn, there we go.
He released in 1995. It was from Sega. It was meant to go up against guys like Mario, complement Sonic the Hedgehog really quick. Rystar is a 1995 platform game developed by Sega for the Genesis. The game stars an anthropomorphic cartoon star who uses his hands and long, stretchable arms to both fight and move.
I'm going to bring up these mascots so people can see them after we've discovered what they are.
Yeah. He looks stupid.
So that's the thing is, when I was describing him, I was conflicted in my head. I didn't want to say that he looks like a literal star because like that's too stupid. Like he's going to be called Rystar, but he's going to look like a squirrel or something or other. But lo and behold, he was a literal actual star. Amazing.
His game straight up looks like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh yeah. They're like, let's do another one. And then not the internet, consumers were like, no, thank you. It is the first one that you popped up there. Yep. There he is. He's just a star with arms and legs. It's fun. It's crazy. All right, go ahead. Keep track of your points. Go ahead and give yourself a point, Cozy, for that. Next up, video game this or that, ServBot. What is ServBot? Video game or real sports mascot?
Cozy's first on this one.
Yeah, Cozy goes first.
Thing is ServBot does sound like one of them sports mascots because you got serve in the title, but I can also see that being like, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to say that this guy is a sports mascot.
ServBot sounds like a Japanese ping pong sports mascot. Like, all right, first serve, or like tennis or something like that. Like it's a robot for some tennis thing in Japan where everything has a mascot. But I'm pretty sure ServBot is like a Borderlands thing or a Fallout, or like ServBot's a character in a video game. I'm like 62% sure.
So you're saying video game, Cozy said sports mascot?
Yeah.
ServBot is a video game character. He's the official mascot for Mega Man's Legends. It has to specifically be the Legends games.
I know ServBot from Marvel vs. Capcom. That's what it is.
Yeah, I know him because in Dead Rising, when you put it, he looks like a Lego dude. Like you have like the weird Lego hats, but that's actually ServBot from Mega Man Legends.
Oh, it's those guys.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm intimately familiar with these guys, but I didn't even like them being called ServBots is like one of those details that just completely slips to mind.
No, it is crazy. But yeah, go ahead and keep track of those points. We're going to move on to our next one. Chad, you'll be going up first on this one. Next one up is Captain Fear. What is Captain Fear? Real sports mascot or video game mascot?
Captain Fear sounds like a minor league. Like, Fear is not creative enough to be a video game thing. So it's like a minor league baseball team. Maybe they're Pirates or something like that, and they have like someone who's Captain Fear is like our Blackbeard knockoff or whatever it is. It's a sports.
All right, Cozy, what do you think?
It's a sports.
Yeah, I like Chad's reasoning. Like I like the idea that this could be like a pirate themed mascot, because I feel like otherwise, if you don't include the like naval pirate theming into this, I can't even in my mind imagine what this guy looks like. But yeah, regardless, I'm going to agree with Chad that this is a sports mascot.
Captain Fear is a sports mascot. Captain Fear, a Caribbean pirate captain, is the official mascot of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He has blue eyes, black hair, thick eyebrows, and a full beard. He's been the mascot of the Buccaneers since June 2000. He replaced a pirate mascot known as Scully. So, yeah, it's the Buccaneer from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
This is like This is like Matt's team. He has so much Buccaneers.
Oh, he would have known
shit.
it immediately. Yeah, he would have known it. Yeah, if he was here.
First of all, why, Matt? What is your connection to Tampa Bay? Second of all, what is this mascot? Look at this thing.
Yeah,
Dude, mascots are great. I love them so much.
I have a few questions about this guy.
Look, he hangs out with the soldiers. He's a good guy.
Is his mustache?
I guess so.
A fuse for dynamite or something like TNT?
He's a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Don't think too hard about it.
All
Next
right.
up, fourth on our list, Sourdough Sam. What is Sourdough Sam, Cozy? I think you're first on this one. Yeah.
Sourdough Sam. You know, when you say that name, the first thing that comes to mind is Pajama Sam from Humongous Entertainment back in the day. You might remember that I played Pajama Sam, There's No Need to Hide When There's Darkness Outside last year, and I thought it was pretty good. Anyways, we're getting off topic. Sourdough Sam. See, it's not impossible to me that there's some obscure sports team out there that, like, they come from, like, a town that has, like, some intimate history with sourdough bread, and so they're like, we're the Sourdough Sams, or we're the sourdough linebackers, or whatever the fuck. But I'm going to say that this is a video game mascot.
Okay. Chad, what are you thinking?
I'm 50-50 on the fence on this one. Sourdough Sam could go either way. But I'm leaning towards sports team for some, like, I don't know. I'm thinking, like, Belgian waffles. Like, there's this connection between Belgium and waffles, and, like, maybe there's, like, a Bavarian pretzel. Pretzels are made of sourdough, so maybe it's, like, a Bavarian soccer team. I don't know. Serious Sam's a sports mascot.
Before you reveal what it is,
not Serious Sam.
Before you reveal what it is, what I'm curious about is, like, how they represent the sourdough. Like, is it going to be like a literal lump of dough, or will it be sourdough bread? Will it be a sourdough pretzel? Like, what ultimately comes through in terms of the representation of the sourdough here?
All I can think of is that new bread dog from Pokemon Violet.
Oh yeah, Fido.
Oh man, yeah. Sourdough Sam.
I'm going to bring up Fido real quick.
Okay, you can do that as I read through this.
Is. We'll Sourdough Sam from now on
is the mascot of the San Francisco 49ers, meaning he's a real sports mascot. A Gold Rush prospector-themed character first appeared in the 1970s. He replaced Clementine, who was a mule, was the 49ers mascot before Sourdough Sam. And that's how you know what the 49er stands for. It's when they went in mine for gold in 49.
That's fucking wild that I lived in San Francisco, that I currently live in the Bay Area down in San Jose, and I've been here for 5 years, 6 years almost. I've never seen this thing before in my life.
It's almost like you don't go to football games or something.
Almost like I don't go to football games. Or like I've seen merch with the SF logo on it from the 49ers, but I've never seen this person's face on it.
That's why sports are so good. Next up.
My thing is
go ahead.
I want to just say real quick, Sourdough Sam, I actually like this guy's vibe. I actually think that of all the mascots we've looked at so far, this one's one of the better designed of said mascots. I just think that the name Sourdough Sam's a little bit of a misnomer. I feel like we could have done a little bit better there.
Take it up with this city of San Francisco. Next up on our list, we have Fizzy. Fizzy.
Fizzy.
Yep.
Fizzy.
Video game or real sports mascot, Chad?
Fizzy is a video game. I'm not going to tell you how I know, but I know. I just know.
Okay. Cozy, what are you thinking?
I feel like both me and Chad right now are deadlocked at 2-2. I need to get points on the board. I'm going to say that this guy is a sports mascot.
Wait, no, I have another point from Sourdough Sam.
You guys are keeping track of points, not me. So I'm going to tell you.
I will go ahead and I will give Chad a point. So which means I'm still going to go with sports mascot.
Okay. Fizzy is from a video game. Chad, how did you know who Fizzy was?
I just blind luck. Fizzy video game.
Fizzy is the mascot character inside of Sunset Overdrive. So in the video game, there's a fictional mascot named Fizzy.
Oh, so
Fizzy's
it's not this Roblox thing, the Fizzy show that I'm showing on the screen
Fizzy
right now?
No, Fizzy Sunset Overdrive. Fizzy is the corporate mascot of Fizzco and a boss in Sunset Overdrive. He often features a large advertisement balloon floating above Sunset City. Yeah, so it's that little fucker from Sunset Overdrive.
Here's what I'll say. Unlike Sourdough Sam, which I think had a bad name, but otherwise was a well-designed caricature. Fizzy, I hate. This is some 2013 trending crazy frog bullshit. This guy sucks.
I think he's cute.
Good name, though.
He looks like a little vampire who's going to eat me.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Yeah. Next up. All right, next up. Cozy, you're going first. Swoop. Mm-hmm. What is Swoop? Is that video game or real mascot? Mm-hmm.
Well, see, what's weird about this is like Swoop is a character in Mario, but I wouldn't really quantify Swoop as like a mascot character. He's one of those like bat enemies that goes and attacks Mario. But I feel like now I've gotten a little bit too far into the domain of talking about video games, thinking about video game characters. So I feel like I gotta go at video game regardless, even though I think this might be a trap. So yeah, I'm gonna say video game.
Swoop, there it is. Swoop is I'm imagining like a seagull for some sports team who's like, I don't know, on the coast. And they're like, or some ocean themed team. And Swoop is like a seagull mascot for a sports team.
Interesting. Swoop is a real man mascot.
Fuck yeah.
Swoop is the mascot for the potential Super Bowl bound Philadelphia Eagles. He's just an eagle with a jersey on. He looks pretty wild. And now, as I did point out earlier, Cozy, because yes, there might have been a character named Swoop in a video game, but if it's not listed on the list of mascot characters on Wikipedia or other lists, I did not include it. So just a character in a game does not consider it a mascot.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Just so I'm not cheating you out of a point or whatever. But yeah, there he is. He's just an eagle with
called Swoop in Mario.
Yeah, I did not either.
Yeah. Yeah, from they first debuted in Super Mario World. They appear in like a bunch of the cave levels, and they appear every now and then in the 3D games.
Sorry, side note, literally last night for the very first time, I realized I was watching a documentary on YouTube while I was playing with Atreus, and I realized for the first time that when you step on a turtle shell in Super Mario World and the little guy spits out, like I had never looked at that sprite too closely. I just thought it's like this weird little thing with eyes and like its arms or its ears or its ears or its hair sticking out the back. No, fucking it's its arms and it's like back in a t-shirt. Hold on, I'm about to Google naked Koopa and see what comes up.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
The guys wear t-shirts under there. It's true.
That's fun. All right, I'm gonna go in with the next one as you Google that. Next one up.
This right here. Oh shit balls ass fuck damn hell bitch.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, see the little white beater.
Yeah, he's got a little. Yeah. I had never thought that was a little white beater with the hunchback and his like arms like this at his side. I never pictured it as that. I thought it was just like weird ears.
So why even have?
He doesn't even have legs though. It's just boots.
Yeah, that's true. All right, next one up. Who goes first? Is this Chad or Cozy? I don't remember.
I did
Chad.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, it'll be you. Jimbo. Is that a real mascot or a video game mascot?
Jimbo is a video game mascot in something like, but Jimbo is also like, I don't know, it's beyond good and evil, and it's like a pig that hangs out in a swamp or something like that. And it's like, that's Jimbo.
Okay, Cozy.
At this point, I don't think I can catch up to Chad, but I'm going to say that this is a video game mascot, and that it specifically is a video game mascot that's trying to be like a parody of a real life sports mascot. That's my prediction.
Jimbo is a video game mascot played in live action by Ben Starr. Jimbo is the main guy from Balatro. He's the first Joker you meet with the orange paint on his eyes.
Oh yeah.
The funniest thing about this, Jimbo has an entry on fandom.com. Gary McCready, more commonly known as Jimbo, is a talking joker that introduces the game and narrates a tutorial. That man's name is Gary McCready, but he goes by Jimbo for fun. I just thought that one was absolutely ridiculous. All right. Next up, we have Rally Squirrel. Rally Squirrel.
Chad, you're up.
No, I did Jimbo. I did Pig in a Swamp Jimbo.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I guess I'm up. I'm going to say that this guy is a sports character. This guy's all about the sports. IRL.
About the sports. IRL. I love that. Chad, what do you think?
What's the name again? I totally forgot what it is.
Rally Squirrel.
Rally Squirrel, Bally Total Fitness, Real Men Get Swole, Real Life Sports.
Okay, so you're both saying real sports. Got you.
Yeah.
Rally Squirrel is the secondary mascot for the St. Louis Cardinals. He's an anthropomorphic. Yeah, he's an anthropomorphic squirrel wearing the team's uniform with the number 11. So what happened is in real life, a squirrel ran across the base in 2011, the year that they won the national championship. So they adopted the squirrel and made him anthropomorphic to make him a mascot to represent when they were really good during that year. So very good. You guys both got that. We have two left. Next up, Jazz Bear.
Jazz Bear. That's God, I really want that to be that could be a video game. I feel that's like a Donkey Kong knockoff, but instead of Cranky sitting there playing his banjo in the rocking chair, it's like Jazz Bear playing a mandolin in a hammock. So Jazz Bear is some knockoff Donkey Kong side character.
Cozy.
You know what? I'm gonna try to close the gap as much as I can these final two rounds. I'm gonna say that this is a sports mascot. I don't know why, but something about the Jazz Bear makes me think of sports.
Jazz Bear is a real mascot. He is the mascot for, guess what? Yeah. The Utah Jazz. Jazz Bear.
Wow.
Okay, what's really interesting?
A terrifying bear. He looks like a real life Ewok, like a large Ewok that's gonna fucking eat your face.
He's fucking weird. So Jazz Bear was introduced to the league on November 4th, 1994. He's very popular. Former Utah Governor Gary Herbert declared October 10th, 2013 as Jazz Bear Day. Just thought that was fun.
So here's what I'll say. This guy, not as good as Sourdough Sam. I think Sourdough Sam is still at the top of the pack in terms of design, but I do appreciate that this guy actually looks intimidating. We had Captain Fear, which was just like not intimidating at all. That was not a mascot that struck fear in your heart. This guy strikes serious fear in my heart. If I saw him on the field, I would be running for the hills. This guy's a lot.
I can't understand. Are those are real people? Those are his human eyes, right? Yes, that's his human eyes looking through. And then he just has eye black around to make it look like it's so.
That is even scarier.
That's so scary. On it. Here's the scary.
One last effective. Thing. On October 19th, 2018, it was reported that John Absey, who had performed as the Jazz Bear for 24 years, was fired due to unspecified disputes with management. Aww. That's the last thing about Jazz Bear. And last, but certainly not least, real video game mascot or sports mascot, 808.
808.
Just 808.
Just the digits.
Yep, spelled or numerically represented 808.
808 is a video game mascot, and they informally call him Bob in the game somewhere.
As much as 808 sounds so computational, like something that you might encounter in a video game, I'm going to say that this guy's a sports mascot, and the 808 comes from perhaps the area code of the team he's representing. That's my prediction.
Interesting. I like that. 808 is a video game mascot.
Oh, I'm so good at this game.
808 is one of the main characters in Hi-Fi Rush. It's the cat, buddy, that keeps beat for you above your head. I do like the idea of you're being Aero 808, and that's the mascot. That's a good idea, Cozy, but it is technically that weird little cat that turns into a speaker.
You fucking know, you know what? I think I realized why Hi-Fi Rush didn't click with me. I fucking hate talking cats in games and anime and shit.
Yeah. Well, technically the cat didn't talk. The girl talked through the cat.
Yeah, whatever.
So that's how it works. What are the final scores,
the Palico in Monster Hunter World is not a cat.
Final scores
a different creature. It's a cat.
I got 5 correct, and Chad got 8 correct. So
congratulations,
Chad.
You know your mascots and your video game mascots. You're the ultimate master of the mascot game. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for that segment from Adam. Cozy, we're going a little long, so you mind if we skip the question of the week?
Yeah, we can do Cozy's question of the week. At some point within the future, as promised, I will do a final installment of TMI with NPD, but I'm still waiting for them to put out the list of the top 10/20 best-selling games of the year prior. So we will get to that at some point, and or we'll do another Cozy's question of the week when we have the time to do so.
Cool. That brings us to Game On Game Show. The Game On Our Gaming Show, where we play a game called Game On, the gaming show on our game show. Game. This week, you knew it was coming. Marry, Fuck, Kill 2025 Part 1.
Let's go.
This is a Respawn Aimfire tradition now for, I think we've been doing this for 2 or 3 years now, maybe longer, where we look at all the games coming out over the next 6 months. So we do 2 per year, and we say, all right, which of these games am I going to marry? Which of these games am I going to fuck? And which of these games am I going to kill? And none of those actually have judgment, like quality judgments about the games that they're going to be. Like, so if we decide we're going to kill a game, doesn't mean it's going to be a bad game. It just means we want to kill that game for some reason. As a recap of 2024, Part 2, so that was the second half of the year, we decided we were going to marry Power Rangers Doritos Rewind. We were going to fuck Assassin's Creed Shadows. And then kill Super Mario Party Jamboree. Did that actually turn out to be true? Well, I'll just say I don't have Assassin's Creed Shadows dripping off of my wiener right now.
Oh, dripping. Oh, shit.
So that's where we landed for recap of 2024 Part 2. I will let you know ahead of time. Usually, the games that I make part of this are only games that have, like, quote-unquote confirmed release dates within the first 2 years. Like if it just has like a Q1 or a Q2 or an early 2025, usually I don't put it on this list. However, I was struggling to get games. Usually I have 12 games on these for the past several times that I've done it. I was struggling to find 12 games that were worth mentioning that we might have any idea about that were coming out this year in the first 6 months. So there are a couple of games on this that do have like a Q1/Q2 or an early 2025.
It's the black hole of Grand Theft Auto 5 scaring everyone away.
Nobody
wants to get caught in its orbit.
Although Grand Theft Auto 5 is likely to be, or 6 is going to be likely like end of the year.
Grand
so
Theft
they're
Auto
just like
6. Grand Theft Auto
further
6.
and further away. Anyway, so these games are all coming out in the next 6 months, allegedly. And I've split them into 4 groups of 3, and we have to marry, fuck, kill each group. Each group is centered around a theme. These themes were kind of hard to come up with. So let's go to the first one called Missed My Flight. These are all games that were supposed to come out last year and didn't. And so we are voting on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, Hitman World of Assassination specifically for the PSVR 2, because that game's already out, but the PSVR 2 support is coming in March, and Assassin's Creed Shadows. Of these games, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 from the Chinese room, Hitman World of Assassination PSVR from IOI, and Assassin's Creed Shadows from Ubisoft. What do we want to fuck? What do we want to marry? What do we want to kill?
I am going to marry Assassin's Creed because regardless of everything that's going on with Ubisoft right now, I think that one has the most potential to be truly great. And it's of those 3 games, the one franchise that I have the most experience with. I'm going to fuck Hitman and I'm going to kill vampires.
I think I have the exact same ranking as well.
Oh, interesting.
Not necessarily for the same reason. Here's the thing. I'm not going to try to kill Hitman because he's going to get your ass. So don't even bug. He'll fucking get you. Believe me, I played those games. And if I had to fuck a vampire that's been reincarnated 17 times compared to Yasuke and the girl ninja, I'd rather marry one of those two. So I have the exact same ranking for different reasons, but I have the same ranking.
You know, I was thinking kill Hitman for that, like, you know, the death of one person is like good for the world because it prevents the death of many, like that kind of, you know, virtuous thinking. But you know what? I mean, it's the same thing for vampires. They're gonna fucking kill a bunch of people anyway. So,
and these vampires have been through multiple studios. You know, it's gonna be tough.
Plus, Assassin's Creed Shadows. You know, it's 2 for 1. If you marry Assassin's Creed Shadows, you need a little variety in there. Maybe split them up. Somebody gets weekends, first and third weekend of the month. Somebody gets
nights and weekends, top 5, all that good stuff.
I'm on board. So we're marrying Assassin's Creed Shadows. We're not killing. We're fucking Hitman.
Mm-hmm. And we'll kill the vampires.
I don't know why I'm writing out the whole verb. I'm just gonna write MFK. And killing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. All right. Such missed my flight. We're going to now transition to the next group, which is Link to the Past. These are all games that allow you to view the past as it was in some way. The first Berserker Kazan, the way that this is the past is because it's set 800 years before the events of whatever Dungeon Fighter Online is. The first Berserker Kazan, by the way, is a action RPG. People are comparing it to like Sekiro. There's a demo out. It has like a cel-shaded anime look. Looks pretty cool. Civilization 7. You start in the past. Yeah, maybe you go into the future, but you know, you look into the past there. And then Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is intended to help try to tell history as accurately as possible.
I'll say from jump. I know all these things are from the past or whatever. They're connected to the past. No way in hell I'm fucking some Middle Ages person. They shit in hay and they throw it out the side of the castle. Ain't no way that's a fuck. So that's not a fuck. So I either fuck Civilization first Berserker. I love Civilization, so I don't care fucking it personally, but I'm not fucking Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I don't care. I'm not putting my dick in that.
Yeah, I don't put my ween in that.
No.
Plus it's probably got like the plague or like nasty. No. I'm okay with killing Kingdom Come.
Yeah, I feel bad for Kingdom Come because everything that we've seen of that particular sequel actually looks really good. It definitely, it kind of defied my expectations of what that game might look like. But yeah, I'm going to kill that one as well.
Oh, this has nothing to do with the quality of the game. I don't want to fuck somebody from the Middle Ages. That's what it is.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Straight
up. That's all it
exactly. Is. Yeah, for all we know, that game could end up being great. I've never played a Civilization game, but I am going to fuck Civilization 7. Are part of the rumors that we might see that game on the Switch 2? Because if we will...
It's announced for Switch 1.
Yeah, it is announced for Switch 1.
I would wait for the Switch 2 version.
I was going to say the exact same thing. That seems like the kind of game I might almost pick up on the Switch 2, because I feel like that might be a fun game to take with me on the road. And I've been hearing good things about First Berserker. That when that game was shown off at the Game Awards, I was kind of like, okay, this is one of those games that is in the show to pay the bills. But people actually do seem to like this game based off of the recently released demo. So I'm going to go ahead and marry Kazan.
This feels like such an arranged marriage. Like, I don't know anything about this person, but I guess we just gotta get married. But yeah, that's what it's gonna be.
Can I persuade flipping Kazan and Civ 7, where we marry Civilization 7
as well? Yeah,
because there's a lot of variety. You might start, people grow over time, and you might start kind of like in villages with no running water, but then over time,
start in the Bronze Age, you go to Iron Age.
You grow together. Like it's a great versus Kazan. I feel like it's going to be a one note. It's a berserker. Like Berserk in RPGs is like you literally all you do is attack, and that's all. You're one note, so like you might as well spend one night with that person, right?
I'm fine with marrying Civilization. I love Civilization, so I'll marry it all day.
Yeah, Cozy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. I'm fine with that change.
Cool. So we're fucking first Berserker Kazan, marrying Civ 7, and killing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and their smelly selves. All right, we're going to go to our third group. Didn't have a clever name. It's just called RPG Elements. These are three games that are all...
game so far on this list.
Yes, but these specifically also have RPG elements. Clair Obscur Expedition 33. That's the game where like everyone at age 33 dies, and then whatever number the painter writes next, everyone of that age dies. Avowed. We all know that one coming from Obsidian. And then Monster Hunter Wilds, not to be confused with Monster Hunter Worlds, or the Outer Wilds, or the Outer Worlds.
Of these three, only one of them has a bad movie spinoff. I will point that out.
That's true. I feel like Clair Obscur I want to marry because I find that one is so mysterious and interesting to me that I want to dig in and understand and really know that thing. So I want to like have time with it.
It's also Ben Starr and
it's
Charlie
also
Cox
Ben Starr
and Andy Serkis, and there's some other people in there.
So here's the thing. I'm just going to put this out here. Monster Hunter Wilds could very well be the best of these three games from a critical perspective, but I also feel like for someone like me personally, it's just way too much of a time investment. I feel like I would be perfectly happy with just killing off Monster Hunter Wilds so we don't have to worry about that.
Fine with me too.
And then
it probably will absolutely be the best game of all these, but as far as this exercise, yeah, we can kill it. I don't care.
Let's kill it.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I would... Honestly, I would be fine with fucking Clair Obscur and marrying the Obsidian RPG Avowed.
What's your argument for marrying Avowed over Clair Obscur?
I mean, it strikes me... I mean, here's the thing. Both these games are probably not going to be like done in a single afternoon, but I can see myself just getting invested in and sticking around with Avowed longer if it gets its hooks in me. Whereas Clair Obscur kind of feels to me like the kind of game that I would be fine with just dipping a toe into to see where it takes me. But I'm honestly, this is one of those cases where I would be fine flipping them around if it seems like the consensus is more to flip those around.
I don't care either way. How about I flip a coin and whoever wins gets it? What do you want, heads or tails? Who wants heads, who wants tails? I don't care. Someone call.
Tails.
All right, Chad wants tails. If it's tails, Chad wins. If it's heads, Cozy wins. It is tails.
There we go.
All right, we're marrying Clair Obscur. Fucking Avowed. Killing Monster Hunter Wilds. All right. Last category before we then have to pick the ultimate marry, the ultimate fuck, and the ultimate kill. This category is called Me, Wii, and PC. One of these games is single player, the other is forced two-player, and the last one is only coming to PC for a while. This is Citizen Sleeper 2, Starward Vector. That's the single-player game. Split Fiction is the forced two-player game, or the Wii in this Me, Wii, and PC. And Dune Awakening is coming early 2025 to PC, consoles TBD.
Damn, my brain is broken. When you say we, I thought it was WII. It's actually WE.
Context, video games. I get it.
I really loved Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2, but Dune Awakening is not really the way that I want to experience that story and world. For all I know, it could be great, but I am fine putting that in the kill pile.
Dude, me too. Survival MMO, couldn't say. Those are two words that just like ultimately penis shrivels inside of me when I hear those words. MMO and survival. Nah.
Again, previews have been solid. It seems like it could be great, but it's not for me. And then I would say pretty easily that I will want to marry Citizen Sleepers 2, Skyward Vector. With the original. Wait, what is it? Hold on. I've talked about this in the past, but whenever I have the preview up for the stream, I always put the resolution at super low quality so it's not taxing my computer. So I actually can't properly read the names of these things. Starward Vector.
Starward, yep.
I think I said Skyward Vector. The original Citizen Sleeper, I was very thorough with that game. I went through and played every single ending, completed every single achievement, whether or not it counted for a trophy. And so that's definitely a game that I'm going to want to marry, which leaves Split Fiction to be fucked.
What are your thoughts, Adam?
Are there children in the background?
there are children here.
People out playing in the courtyard.
I'm just trying to think, which would I
dog.
rather marry or get down with? Here's the problem. I think Joseph Ferris makes very good video games. And it makes sense to marry a 2-player game. But if I have to listen to somebody, Cody, if I have to listen to that, I don't want to listen to that all for the rest of my life. So I can go kind of either way, but I'm more interested in just giving Split Fiction a weekend and then not having to worry about it anymore. Just based on the Cody voice line from the last game.
So it sounds like you two are in consensus, right? Kill Dune Awakening.
What are you thinking, Chad? Do you care one way or the other?
I only have any feelings whatsoever about Split Fiction. And the other two, I have strong feelings that like I don't give a shit about Dune Awakening. I guess I don't know. Citizen Sleeper, cool cyberpunk. I could see myself spending my life with cyberpunk somebody.
Okay,
I don't know. Know.
You won the last coin toss. Let's go ahead and do that. Give it to Cozy. Marry Citizen Sleeper and
marry Citizen Sleeper.
Fiction.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so now the last part of this is we have to go and figure out, of all the people we said we would marry, which one are we actually going to do? So that is Citizen Sleeper 2, that is Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Civ 7, and Assassin's Creed Shadows. Which one are we actually going to marry?
My vote's Civ 7. A lot of time, a lot of variety, a lot of fun. Papa John's.
See, the thing is I want to say Citizen Sleeper 2 because that's the one game on this list that I know is most guaranteed to be excellent. But also, I just feel a little bit guilty saying that, knowing how imminent Citizen Sleeper 2 is. Like, I don't want to, like, blow my load all at once. Although I am marrying them and not fucking them in this particular case. I would be fine with compromising and going with Civ 7 for that same reason.
We can't do Assassin's Creed Shadows because that was the one we said we'd fuck last year.
Yeah, we already fucked it.
And we're not going to do a shotgun wedding thing. So, like, we can't be in that game. So then, yeah, that leaves it with Civ 7, Expedition 33, and Citizen Sleeper 2. So, yeah, Civ 7. I'll do Civ 7. Let's go.
One day it could be Cleopatra, the next day be Abraham Lincoln. You'll have a great time. It'll be wonderful.
All right, fuck brings us to Split Fiction, Avowed, The First Berserker Kazan, and Hitman World of Assassination on PSVR 2.
So what's the most fun, you know? What's the most enjoyable? You can blow your load early. It doesn't matter. It's just going to be one time. We'll never talk about it.
I mean, I feel like from that perspective, Kazan is actually the game to go with here. Because it seems like the most like dumb fun, just grab your super huge Buster sword and just go to town.
Grab your Buster sword.
What are you thinking, Chad? What do you want to fuck? Give this letter opener.
Got my Buster sword. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like First Berserker Kazan would be like a cool story. Like, that's a one night scene. But you know that Berserker Kazan from 800 years before Dragon Fighter Online? Yeah, we had a fun night one night back in Vegas. Like, that could be a fun story. Versus, like, I slept with a hitman. You don't want to tell anybody that. Or I slept with this weird RPG that casts magic out of both hands.
Split Fiction is two people, though.
You're right. It is two people.
That's a good story.
Now, the question is, are they, let's see, Split Fiction protagonists?
I might be swayed to go at Split Fiction. That game, I mean, that game has the hot dog levels where you play as the hot dogs on the barbecue.
You're That's right. Cool. And your dragons, and they're both pretty attractive, and they're not little dolls like they were in the last game. So I'm thinking Split Fiction. Yeah, you're making a good argument for Split. Yeah, okay.
You got a future and something in the past. It'll be great.
All right, so Split Fiction. And then finally, Kill is Dune Awakening, Monster Hunter Wilds, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2.
I mean, I feel like I would be fine with killing off Dune Awakening for the same reasons why I wanted to kill it in its own separate ranking. It's just not what I want out of an adaptation of that world.
You know what else? Dune Awakening, I learned this today as I was trying to figure out whether it was set in the past or in the future or whatever, so it might line up with something. It's not even in the same fucking... It's an alternate universe timeline of the Dune movies, where there is no Timothée Chalamet.
But Matt and Dallas took that picture at PAX East in front of the Dune Awakening sign. That was a pretty good picture.
I mean, first of all, it was a GIF, and me and Joel were both there.
I don't remember that.
So... There's nothing interesting. If you take Timothée Chalamet out of it, there's nothing interesting about Dune Awakening.
No, that game's going to be good. That game's going to be massive, but we can kill it. That's fine.
Let's kill it. It's
going to be a good game.
Great. All right, so for 2025, Part 1. Also, how wild that we're doing MFK on MLK Day. I just saw that. For 2025, Part 1, we are marrying Civ 7, fucking Split Fiction, and killing Dune Awakening. That's where we've landed. That's it for Game on Game Show. That is good. It for episode... I've lost the page, whatever. Or 382 of Respawn Aim Fire. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Of course, remember, you have homework. Go to patreon.com/RespawnAimFire and vote. Vote this week. I'm sure we'll post the poll for next month's Barf game. Go and vote and tell us what you want us to play. Play Celeste 64, Frostbite of the Mountain, Thunder, Frost, Funk, something with Fragments of the Mountain. That's what it is. Yeah. Found it. Fragments of the Mountain. Go play Celeste 64. Go access your Patreon exclusive episode of our fun monthly show where you get to see a RAF cake. And if you're one of those people who doesn't get to do any of those things, thanks for your free time. Thanks for your free, as in unpaid time, and thank you for your free time, for spending your free time with us, however that might be.
Fun fact, in the Pokédex, Pokemon 382 is Kyogre, the mythical Pokemon that has control over the sea.
Nice. One of my strongest in Pokemon Go that I have right now. And I have the primal form with... I opted not to go for his exclusive move during the primal form because it was less DPS than if you learned Surf instead. So...
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It only makes sense. Well, that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to episode 382 of Respawn Aim Fire. Until next time, here's our usual sign-off. The box legendaries for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are so stupid, and they're just bicycles that you ride around, and their names are literally Ride On, because you ride on them. It's Me Ride On and Co Ride On, and it's so stupid. Oh, me ride on this one, Co ride on that one. It's stupid.